All right. So today I am joined by up and coming actor Kaipo Dudoit. How are you doing today?
Good. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. So tell me, how excited are you for your feature film debut of My Partner to premiere on VOD?
I mean, it's been a long time coming. We had this film premiered 2 years ago, if not almost coming up in 2 years,
Mhm.
and we haven't been able to share our movie for this long because we've been trying to get it into festivals and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So I'm very glad we're able to share it outside of just these festivals and into our communities and into everywhere else around the world that um, with our story. Yeah, and I'm very excited to have
Mhm.
it.
Awesome,
Yeah.
very nice.
Thanks.
So, so this is a tender LGBTQ plus boys love feature film. For those who aren't familiar, can you kind of talk about what boys love, also known as BL, is?
Yeah. So boys love is a genre that, from what I know, came from Japan, and it was a genre made for women about men specifically, and usually those stories would include friendships that turned into relationships or romantic relationships between two men, and um, and that genre kind of boomed, especially recently within the Asian communities and Asian countries. And we see some of it happening within the Western film with
Mhm.
like Love Victor and all that kind of stuff. But I think BL is like a very specific kind of genre.
Okay.
Um, and one thing that I would like to point out about BL is that it's not necessarily about them being two men or two women. Um, it is a big part of it, but a lot of it is just the connections between two people that may be seen as equals that are trying to come together, and there tends to be a romantic relationship that gets involved with that.
Okay,
Uh,
perfect.
yeah.
So, why did you want to be involved with this film?
Well, it was funny because during the pandemic of it all, I was watching a bunch of like BL stuff because my friends were watching it, and they introduced me to the genre. And then all of a sudden, I get an email from Kid E. Grace and Lance Collins, who are the director and the screening, the writer of this film. And it was a BL show. I was already interested in that, and then also just a movie based upon Hawaii and our culture and our people,
Mhm.
and especially the inclusion of immigrant families as well that
Yeah.
are stories of Hawaii that aren't being told in broader spectrums of media.
Mhm.
So it was all of those kinds of things got me really interested into doing this film, and yeah, I was very grateful and honored to be a part of it.
Mhm, for sure. And so you play Pili. What made this the perfect role for you, and what did you want to bring to the character?
Um, I chose Pili was a is a person that's very far away from my own personal life. And but growing up in Hawaii, I do know these kind of guys where Pili is like a jock and he doesn't like to talk about his feelings as much, or he doesn't like to show off about of who he is and what kind of knowledge he has. But he's like passionate about being Hawaiian and about his family, and that kind of character really um, is something similar that I can agree with, that I aligned with while doing this movie.
Hmm.
Um, and it was interesting just to play with him in terms of the character and in terms of his arc to see how much he grows and what kind of growth that what it looks like
Hmm.
in this kind of person, especially when you include a different like a love interest within that character. What kind of thing changes within a person once you start to learn about a different person from what you are used to?
Hmm.
So
Yeah,
yeah.
definitely. So, being a native Hawaiian, it was very meaningful for My Partner to be produced and be filmed entirely in Hawaii, showcasing your culture.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
Mhm.
And some people, a lot of us in the film industry here do not get that opportunity to one just even make and create films about Hawaii.
Mhm.
Um, I think that's just how it is, or people believing in that kind of in creating these kind of stories. that's very niche, I think. But also this particular story of my partner is very broad in the sense that like I think a lot of people outside of Hawaii can really relate to.
Mm-hmm.
Culture aside, there's still the very very much raw human emotions and human connections that this movie provides.
Mm-hmm,
Yeah.
definitely. And with this being your feature film debut, what did you personally take away from the overall experience?
That it is possible for us to create stories, especially stories about queerness and of the community, without having to utilize our traumas
Mm-hmm.
as the forefront of stories, that we can create stories of love and of peace and of we don't have to utilize our sexuality to just be the definition of who we are as characters or as actors or as anybody that we see on screen, right? And I think it is possible to educate somebody. This is going in terms of like talking about Hawaiian culture and um, the, the the movements that are going on in Hawaii right now.
Mm-hmm.
That it is possible to entertain someone, but also educate them at the same time.
Yeah,
Give them a really really great story. So
mm-hmm.
yeah.
Definitely for sure. And can you talk a little bit more about how the film grapples with many of the cultural and social issues facing the people of Hawaii today?
Yeah. So the story follows two boys, Pili and Edmar. Pili's from is a native Hawaiian, comes from a native Hawaiian family, and Edmar comes from played by Jayron, comes from an immigrant family that moved in Hawaii. So that in itself in itself is very historical in Hawaii, where we do have not just Filipinos but also Japanese people, Chinese people, all of these immigrant groups that had to work together during the plantation era, and they created a community together, created their own languages together. So with that kind of with those two groups clashing with each other throughout the movie, it's very telling of what actually happened in Hawaii. Sometimes still happens to this day, but it's a lot more peaceful now. But we also talk about water diversion and how would I say this politically correct? Misuse of natural resources and misusages of our natural environment that surrounds us. That is very important to Native Hawaiians to this day. So, yeah, those are the issues that we try to address without it being so political.
Yeah.
By inserting it here and there.
Exactly.
And I think we did a good job at
it. you want an entertaining film, but kind of bring us some social issues.
Yeah.
So,
go ahead.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
Yeah, I just think films should I mean, like, not all of them have to be, but I mean, we should leave a film thinking about stuff, especially with our own communities, with our own families, how we interact with our own environment also. That is something that I hope all films try to accomplish in some kind of way or another.
For sure, I agree, definitely. So Jayron Muñoz, I think I'm saying that pronounce that right, Muñoz. Jeez, I'm horrible at butchering names. I'm sorry about that. But he plays Edmar, and this was also his feature film debut as well. How was it to work with him?
It was great. I mean, I think we all trauma bonded as actors usually do, because we had a short amount of time. I think we shot the film in 16 days, I believe. Maybe 14 days over the course of a month.
Okay.
So we didn't have that much time to work on scenes, but we tried to utilize any kind of time that we had outside of set to just talk with each other and make sure that we are going on the same path and going on the same journey, and make sure that both of us were safe. And like what we see in the film, where we share each other's cultures, that's exactly what happened. While we were offset, he would like tell me more about being Filipino, and I'll tell him more about my own culture as well. And so those things were very organic that happened. And yeah, he was a joy to beer on set. I was like the older person
Okay.
on set, so it was kind of like I was the older brother for a lot of people.
Mm.
But yeah, everyone worked very well with each other,
Good.
including Jay. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, like you said earlier, my partner was on the festival circuit. How has the audience response been?
Yeah. I think all in all, there were positive, very positive responses to our film, especially after the devastation that happened in Lahaina. People are, it hits home for a lot of people that come from that place, just to see that place in general. But especially, I hear more of an impact with our older mahu. Mahu is like our word for the LGBT community, mostly trans, but for our queer people of the older generation, I hear a lot of their responses, and a lot of their responses, hit home for them because it's, they've never seen someone that looks like them and talks like them on screen, and they're like, they can relate to a lot of things that are happening in the film. And it's just, it is a film about love, and that's what we try to send to people with the messaging in our film, and I think that we've been doing that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So have you always had a passion for acting?
I think I had a passion for performing, just in general. I was a musician when I was like a little kid. Was a musician all the way up into high school, and then I started dancing hula after high school, and then took acting in college. But I think I've lived on a stage or lived performing since I was a young boy. Yeah.
Okay. Very nice. And now I know you can't really talk about this just yet, but it has been announced that you will be in Disney's upcoming live action remake of Lilo and Stitch. So just how excited are you to be involved with that film?
Oh, I'm very, very grateful and very excited for this opportunity to just to showcase Hawaii in hopefully in an authentic way, and hopefully that honors our people and the people that have come before us. And it was an amazing experience working with everybody, and I'm just excited.
Awesome. Very nice.
Yeah,
definitely. Well, what are some future goals you hope to accomplish with your acting career?
Yeah, I think just continuing on with acting. I'm trying to do as many community theater things as possible here, anyways, and then just continue on the film. I know that at least right now in Hawaii, it's kind of slow. I think it's like everywhere, it's kind of slow. So we're just waiting and preparing for that time, for that opportunity, and just excited for the journey.
There you go. Are you involved with any community play right now?
Yeah, we just finished a show called Lovey Lee at Kumo Kumo Theater. It's a beautiful theater in downtown Honolulu that we perform plays that are written by local people for local people, and then I'm going to be doing the next show in November, up until December. So I'll be doing that.
Okay, very nice.
Doing that for the end of the year.
Perfect. Well, Kaipo, how can one stay up to date with you the best?
I have an Instagram. I only have Instagram. I'm very behind the times on social. Instagram is at Kaipo Dudoit, KaipoDudoit.
All right, perfect. Then before we wrap up, are there any other upcoming projects or anything else you'd like to mention or plug at this time?
Yeah, I think one of the TV shows that are coming out in Hawaii specifically, that hopefully will take off, is Rescue High Surf, which is on Fox. So I hope everyone gets to watch that show. I'm here and there.
Here and there. Okay.
I'm in here. Yeah. But it's one of the beautiful opportunities where a lot of us Native Hawaiian people are trying to get into this big industry, and they are doing that with the show. So I'm very, very hopeful for the future.
All right, perfect.